Capital Watch, the case for commercial real estate amid market volatility. I'm Adam Chikowski.
I'm Suzanne Sharkey.
And I'm Roger Lee. Welcome.
Welcome to LEARNin Local Live. Well, Suzanne, Roger, you get to be with some of my favorite people on this Thursday afternoon. And I know we got an exciting show today discussing commercial with a ton of opportunity in the market right now.
Correct. Yeah, it's something that I've never touched before, but I'm excited for today's panel to kind of dig down deeper into it. I know we have an article that says that this is kind of, it's performing the best out of all the equities. So I'm looking forward to digging deeper into the topic.
Me too. Can't wait to hear from our guests.
Perfect. And again, this is LEARNin Local Live. This is a place where we connect, collaborate, and create amongst friends and people who have been doing it in the industry. And really, we're here to educate, empower, and inspire through real life experiences. You know, there's so much misinformation out there, and, you know, it's hard to believe what's true and what's not these days. So we're fortunate to be around people who are doing the thing and people who have learned from it. And then today we're going to be talking about some great influencers in the business to kind of educate us a little bit more and about what's going on in the market, and, you know, some opportunities out there for those who are interested in getting into commercial real estate. Cool. So we're have some cool guests on today. You know, as I mentioned, my name's Adam Chikowski. I have a background in commercial loan sales for mainly small, medium-sized businesses. Have been investing in real estate for the last 4 years and made a transition into commercial real estate over the last 8 months, working with a group where we focus solely on senior living and capital raising.
We're twins. So I've also been in this for 4 years now. I have a history. I think of myself as fourth generation real estate. So great grandpa was a broker, great grandpa was a landlord owner during the Depression. Grandma was a broker, mom and aunt was an agent, and I was their tech support. And now I'm a cash buyer / flipper. So I operate in the North Shore. I also run a real estate group called Creative Elite, because the type of real estate transactions we do are so creative and unique. With great power comes great responsibility. So I have a network of friends that I do this with over here in New England.
And I'm Roger Lee. I am a property manager out of Boston. I specialize in short-term rentals, and we can help investors find and manage their vacation homes.
Perfect. Well, again, we're going to have a very cool discussion. You know, in my short time doing it, I'm sure you both can attest, you know, there's so many ways to get into real estate. You know, it's not just buy the single family property, buy 20 of them to cash flow $200 a month, and really that's it. You know, there's so many avenues out there, and I think it's really finding what your niche is and what you're interested in. Yeah, we're going to see a cool perspective today on the commercial side. So with that being said, we have our amazing guest here on the commercial real estate side, Anthony Rivera, who's part of Commercial Real Estate Boss. So I'll let him introduce himself and kind of give you a little bit more information about him.
All right, great. Thanks so much. Thanks for having me. Good afternoon, everyone out there. My name is Anthony Rivera. I'm a co-founder and managing partner of Commercial Real Estate Boss. We are a coaching, training, and mentorship national platform of commercial real estate. Particularly, you know, residential agents, or really anybody that is in real estate that wants to really learn more about commercial real estate and how to do these off-market deals, the intricacies of it, and we do this throughout the country. So not only in Massachusetts, but we've got student agents and partnerships throughout the country, and it's just a lot of collaboration that goes on. And so I'm happy to share what we do, on the rest of the show. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you taking some time and being here and bringing the wealth of knowledge you have. And you're not alone today. We have a real great lineup of guests here. We also have Charles Santiago with the Santi team. So, Charles, welcome on, and appreciate you being here as well.
Thanks, everybody. It's Charles Santiago, William Ravis, Back Bay. We're a luxury brokerage in the Boston area, homegrown here in Boston. We have offices in Florida, Connecticut, Jersey, Massachusetts, and pretty much everything along the East Coast. So smaller brokerage, but much more different than where I was in the past. We focus on residential and commercial real estate. And obviously the topic today is about the industrial property that we procured between CRE Boss and myself, and we partnered together and try to sell it.
There you go.
Charles, my understanding is that you and Anthony actually know each other.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
We do.
What's the story?
He's my brother, actually. Anthony's my biggest brother.
I see the resemblance, the skin tone very similar. Yes.
I took his hair and then I let him.
And I really want it back, actually.
Okay, I'll give you some.
Anthony, it looks good. It looks good on you.
Oh, thanks.
So aside from picking on him as the big brother, you also took his hair. So just
there's
big brother that you are.
Yeah, so that's what happens with big brothers. So, but actually through ARIA, the Asian Real Estate Association of America, really, as you may or may not know, this is a great organization, of course, in regards to real estate and throughout the nation. I've been the commercial real estate chairperson, actually, where I sit in New Jersey for 2 years, commercial chair. And then also, actually, because we do business a lot in Florida as well, I was the commercial chair for ARIA in Miami, Greater Miami chapter for a few years. But I have a very strong relationship and closeness to the Massachusetts, the Boston chapter. And so through common friends like Art Katapang and Ronnie Puzon, who's part of our whole network here, this is how we met, right, Charles? So
yeah, I sit on the board for ARIA Boston. I've been on the board for 3 years, and I am co-chair for ARIA Commercial Boston as well.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
I'm super happy to have the two of you here today. One of the things that we pride ourselves on in LEARNin Local Live is real people doing real business, right? So, of course, we appreciate you, Anthony, from New Jersey, but love the fact that you have deeper roots here, close roots in Massachusetts, as well as Charles, you're right in Back Bay, and so you're on the front lines of everything. So with AI as it is, with fraud running rampant, I'll even say this, I have real life people, so forget AI. I have real life people that are also fraudulent as well. Mm-hmm. Having shows like this, bringing people on, documenting the work that we do is so imperative and important to building credibility to the kind of business that we have. So I'm really happy to have both of you here today. And the question we have that we want to see from real life subject matter experts is, what are you seeing out there? What is real? What are you facing? What are the issues you're currently working through in the space of commercial real estate?
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll take that on. I mean, I always, when any new student agent or a person that comes into our program, I always tell them, you're a consumer first before you put on that hat of a residential agent or commercial agent or investor. We're all consumers. We like our coffee. Maybe you're a Starbucks person, a Dunkin' Donuts person. You go to your favorite restaurants. You go to your fitness facility. So we're consumers first. And so commercial real estate is really common sense of like, what is missing? What can be upgraded? What's missing in my neighborhood? And so that's I always tell people, notice everything around you, because say if I were to move to Back Bay or Somerville, Massachusetts, from New Jersey, what am I accustomed to that is not in the area? And so a lot of it's commercial real estate. Where can I get my coffee? Where can I get my the type of food that I want? Restaurants. Where's the gym? Et cetera, et cetera. And that's where actually it starts, is really filling in the blanks, if you will, of the of commercial real estate. Or if it can be enhanced, something that's a kind of antiquated service or building, maybe it needs to be upgraded. And so that's also part of commercial real estate, redevelopment, right? Not only development, but redevelopment of properties, highest best use of properties.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
Charles, why did you get into commercial real estate? Because I think you might have started in one speed and then recently transitioned or maybe put more momentum behind commercial.
I actually started out with a brokerage, a small brokerage in Andover, Mass, called LEARNin Local Signature Properties. So I started working with her in 2015. They were already talking about doing marijuana in commercial areas like Fitchburg and Leominster, building out commercial spaces. So, I kind of came into it with that in mind, with forward-thinking people back then. And I've done commercial real estate throughout the years, but nothing like what I've been doing with Anthony and Eugene with CRE Boss. And I'm just getting incredible training and just, building our commercial practice, commercial arm of our business to elevate what we do. Especially being Filipino and Cambodian, it's really important to showcase that, if I can do it, if Anthony can do it, if Eugene can do it, we can incorporate other minorities and other fellow Filipinos and Cambodians that want to grow and want to learn the business and want to really build. And you don't have to be just a doctor or a nurse or, whatever the stipulation of what, families tell their kids to do and be. You can do this and you can make just as amount of money, maybe even more. And there's no ceiling, there's no cap, there's no, there's no salary. You can make as much as you want. And I think that's really important for people to understand, is that you when you do this and what we do and building the commercial real estate business, the reason why I'm getting into it is really simple. It's because it's another part of the business that I think is just the sky's the limit, and it's kind of untouched in regards to what we do, in regards to being Filipino and having that here in the city, and then me being the spokesperson, so to speak, for both. I think ethnicities, at least for me, is really important, and I carry that proudly. I carry that very seriously, and I really want to make sure that the people that come underneath me and want to work with us, understand that they're getting the right coaching, the right training, because I'm getting coached by the right and best people in the area.
Right. So Anthony, with this, we probably have people on the air who are just being introduced for the first time to commercial and realizing there's another ocean out there of opportunity.
Absolutely.
For you guys and Charles, what's really the biggest difference for you of like understanding, if you had to define what, residential investing is versus commercial investing? Like, how do the people understand what's the difference?
Sure. Yeah, no, there's as you may know, everybody always says commercial is a different animal, right? It's the wild, wild west, which is true. It is. But let me put into perspective, right? Residential, obviously, when people get, say, a real estate license, they automatically defer to residential, right? Homes, condominiums, apartments, townhomes, etc. But I always tell people, besides hotels, besides homes, what other real estate do you think it is if you don't sleep in it? Besides hotels, guess what kind of real estate it is? Commercial, right? As I was saying, alluding to earlier, where do you eat? Restaurants, commercial real estate. Where do you work out? Gyms, commercial real estate. Senior housing, right? When you're talking about commercial developments, commercial, that's commercial real estate. Anything pretty much that's you're not sleeping in is commercial real estate. And so if you're not, at least as a professional, paying attention to it, you're kind of letting the parade go by you. And it's just a matter of kind of latching onto somebody that is in the business, in the industry. You don't really learn this in high school or college or university. This is really almost like an apprenticeship. You don't hear people that are commercial brokers. It's very rare because of the time it takes to really close a successful commercial deal. It's not in 30 days or 60 days. It could be a year, 2 years, especially if you're doing ground up development, right? That we do a lot of multifamily, 100, 200 units, self-storage, 100,000 square foot plus buildings, industrial warehouse buildings that you see right off the highway. That's like, 500,000 square feet. Somebody's brokering those deals. It's people like ourselves that are doing it, but we were looking to bring in more people to understand the industry. And so,
Sure.
So that's what commercial is. And it's really building communities, not just, of course, it's great to bring a husband and wife into a home and give them the forever home. But in commercial real estate, you're helping now hundreds, if not thousands of people in a community enjoy restaurants, shopping centers, hotels, etc.
Right. And Charles, Guy, what's your take? Because now you've been on the residential side, you're on the commercial side. What's some of the biggest differences you're seeing? I feel like one of the challenges for new investors is more like the valuation of properties. It's very different on the residential side versus how you value things on the commercial side.
Yeah, true. That's true. I think I'm going to be able to grow my hair back once I, fully transition eventually. I'd like to work that out, but at the end of the day, the differences. They're differences, but that's not so much different. I know it's different that people think, and some people have different ideas, and I don't think it's incredibly different. I just think that the vehicle is different. The techniques and the negotiations and the communication, it's just much more prevalent in residential real estate when you're dealing with emotions where the seller hasn't sold a house in 7 to 10 years, or whether they're buying multifamilies and or people selling and buying and not sure they can trust you because you're selling and buying their house, and they think they're going to be homeless. So you got to do a lot of management, and I don't think that it's so much different because you still have to manage people's fear, and people need to know, they need to like you, they need to trust you, right? So for me, I'm pretty good at that. I'm pretty good at having people trust me, and I think with I know, right? Minus the hair thing, but
that's what I'm saying. Listen, know, like, and trust you, and you don't have hair.
Yeah,
I think you got it in the bag. If you had hair, what then would you be doing?
Suzanne,
I don't know if we need.
We're gonna talk offline, and I'm gonna ask you for your hair tips later on.
It's a whole nother topic. But going back to what you were saying about getting into commercial, so I look at it from this perspective. I have a lot of wholesaler friends that are now going into commercial wholesaling, and they did a couple of properties, like shanty looking houses. And normally our first exit strategy would just be like residential. It already exists. Just let it be that. We struggle a lot with permits, getting variances at times. And so when I think about just even transitioning to a commercial level, I think of like all the politics that I need to juggle, all the timelines, convincing certain, what do you call that, shareholders to buy in on your project. And all of that honestly makes me want to throw up. So I know that commercial is super lucrative. I know Lillian, I love that you said Andover. I have such a sweet spot for Andover. So I love the fact that as you jumped into it, that was your new normal, right? You didn't have to learn about commercial. It was just given to you as this is it. This is part of the business, and it's something great. I kind of want to ask Anthony, like, what turned you onto commercial? Obviously, you were not a baby straight out the gate being like, let me do this commercial stuff. So what was it? What was the bite that took you down and kept you in commercial? Because now you're teaching others, which means you really like it. So what do you really like about it? Go ahead.
Well, I tell you, commercial. Well, actually, it came from my parents. I have to, it's in the blood. My brother and I noticed how my parents successfully was able to maneuver into commercial real estate, mixed use buildings in particular. So downtown areas where there's a commercial space, right, the commercial level on the ground level, and then apartments up top, and they were able to do very good investing in. Outside of the Atlantic City area in South Jersey, as well as in Newark, New Jersey, and Jersey City, New Jersey. So my brother and I were always noticing them, purchasing properties and rolling the money into other deals. And so it was literally in our blood. I mean, when I was in my young 20s, I was just doing the lease agreements for our tenants, accountants, different stores, and filling in those kind of leases that you would get from Staples. Just fill in the name of the tenant and this and that. It was always plan B. I came from the world of Wall Street, so I was already dealing with big money when working at Morgan Stanley. So as you know, the stock market was very volatile back in the dot-com boom and bust. And then of course the recent 2005, 2006 GFC crisis. The stock market was too volatile for me, especially when you had hedge funds whipsawing the market. So I said, what other industry that is really investment focused but dealing with big deals? Commercial real estate. And there you go. I was off to the races in 2009 and beyond. And so, yeah. And then to your kind of fear, Suzanne, you were mentioning about, thinking about, oh, I have to learn all these things, you really leverage your business partners, your architects, your engineers, your lending people. Those are your people that will help you get through that commercial deal. So do not worry about having to know everything about commercial. You have all the professionals around you to get this
Love
deal.
it.
Yeah.
Well, as we kind of transition to like, love hearing your takes on it. Obviously with this, we want to provide some real life examples here. So, we're going to kind of transition next into talking about some deals and really give some people some real inside perspective on really how these are structured and how they come about.
Okay, good.
Awesome. So deals. At the end of the day, it's all about the deals. And, I think a piece of advice, we always want to like make the deal the end goal, but you can't get too focused on the end goal. Like you really have to fall in love with the process to get there. Right. That's really should be the focus. So, we really want to kind of go into deals and understand like Charles and Anthony, your perspective on it. So Charles, why don't you kind of take us off like with commercial deals on, for this one we're talking about, it's Central Street in Somerville. Give us kind of your take and what you're seeing right now in the market.
Well, right now, currently in Somerville, in regard to the market, there's about 47 listings for rent, around 380,746 square feet across 29 office spaces, nine retail spaces, 3 industrial/warehouse spaces. And that's all from Property Shark Commercial Cafe. Right now, there's about 15 buildings, office space, a little bit over 1.2 million, retail space, about 107,000, and industrial space, a little bit over 280,000. Right now, like if you look at all the numbers and if you look at what's happening in Somerville is a very unique market. We happen to stumble across this because this was a referral from a friend, and I've been reaching and contacting this person over the course of a year or two. We finally got a meeting. They shared, how they were bleeding. They have this property that it belongs to them that they've had since the early 70s, and this is called the Somerville Central Art Studio building. Right near the Green Line extension, like 6 minutes down the street is Porter Square. And then about 6 minutes the other direction, 6 to 7 minutes the other direction, it's Harvard Square, which obviously has Harvard University, et cetera. And then you have Tufts University, which is right behind this area. And right now, like if you look at commercial real estate, at least for this building, this had a lot of prime opportunity, but and I'll share a little bit more after once we get into it. But if you see this actual aerial view that we have, this was showcasing where the property is located in Spring Hill. And again, you can see that Magoon Square is right up the street. Up to the northwest, you can see Tufts University, and then all the other areas that I mentioned earlier. So Cambridge is right next door. Cambridge is highly sought after in regards to location and for schools. Obviously, you have schools, you have biotech, you have all these other things that are happening in Cambridge. Plus, it's just a very different city because Cambridge does consider itself separate, just like Somerville does consider themselves separate. But Cambridge is a part of Boston. So people sometimes don't understand that. They're like, oh, it's different. Yes, it is, but they do have their own city. Somerville is just the same. If we can go back I don't know if we can go back to the detail slides, the bullet points, if we can pull that up. Or are we not able to do that? Oh, not sure.
While we're doing that, but it sounds like this is like a similarity to like the residential side commercial, and you didn't really say it, but you just kind of inferred it is location, right? Whether it's residential or commercial, if you have the location, the opportunity is going to be there.
Yeah, we always say price, condition, location. Like if clients want all three, expect to pay top dollar. That's just end of the story for that. But sometimes you might be able to find an ugly duckling in an amazing neighborhood, for example, Central Street. 57 Central Street is the Somerville Art Studio building. It's been there for 30 plus years. Same owners. They've actually been in the news. And this has always been an art studio building. So this is roughly around 4 floors of art studio space filled with artists, right? So if you are familiar with the building, it's always been known as the artist studio in Somerville, and the only affordable place for that matter. And art buildings are being put up and converted into mixed use and all these other things, because people obviously see the value of having artists, but they also see the value that we don't have enough homes for people to rent. And Massachusetts has been making a lot of big waves, obviously with the brokerage fees and all of these changes that are coming with residential real estate. But there's also things that are happening with the Multifamily MBTA line act and all these other things that are happening throughout the state, because they have a specific goal of building, 5 to 7,000, I believe, units in the entire state of Massachusetts within a span of 5 to 10 years. So it's quite large, and people are really focusing on wanting to build their residential. Sorry, my dog just walked in the door. Commercial
a lot of opportunity, it sounds like, there to redevelop, the need for housing. You mentioned you found this deal through a referral. I think Anthony, this is probably a big reason why Anthony's working with realtors. I've learned a cheat code when it comes to finding deals is you'll come across a realtor residential that has, maybe someone bought their house from Charles, but hey, I have this like 20 unit apartment complex I can't get rid of. I don't know how to sell it. So Charles is going to put that on the MLS, but you're not going to get enough bites because the clientele probably isn't sophisticated enough or understands enough about, hey, this is just not my wheelhouse. So I feel like if you're a commercial investor, it's a great way to find some deals. But to what Anthony's doing, I think it's a great way to open up that floodgate of deal referrals in teaching those realtors how to handle those types of deals. And Anthony, maybe you can chime in on that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly what you're saying there, Adam, as far as, seeing the potential of how you can maximize that property, because you might be able to, based on the zoning and maybe the height that's allowed there, you might be able to put an additional floor or two onto that building, especially if you see it around your neighbors that they've redeveloped and added a floor or two to their properties, or more units on their properties, or now these additional dwelling units, right? ADUs. There's so much going on that you have to be in tune with what the particular municipality, what's going on with their master plan. They may be going through a redevelopment plan that is now allowing for more versatility on the property, more ability to develop on that property. And so we deal with a lot of assemblages. So if you can say you're in a great corner location, and then maybe the 2 neighbors next to you might want to sell, you might be able to assemble 3 lots together and maybe achieve a certain amount of square footage on that property. So not just looking at single family homes, but how do we turn it into something of a multifamily or mixed use development, especially if it's in a certain area where there's a lot of, maybe close to commercial. You never know, might be able to bring commercial, if it's not already there, commercial onto the ground floor. So there's different ways, but it's just the general idea is to really maximize the location, especially if it's starting to really grow in that particular area of the neighborhood. As Charles was saying, close to the certain mass transit, right? Certain lines. That's what's happening all around the U.S. I can tell you in New Jersey, we follow the transit line. So all the major stops on the New Jersey transit line, you'll see in a 3-5 block radius, new developments going up all over, multifamily, commercial, retail, etc. So
I love it. I mean, where I stand right now, and I think the example that I gave you before is sometimes we end up being a one-trick pony. We know what we know, and then we know there are some things that we don't know. And then there's a whole nother field of the things that we don't even know we don't know. And having somebody like you is fabulous. because you're able to unlock all these other ways that we can force equity that we would not know personally. So with that said, I know you guys have an event coming up, and that's a great way to meet you, right? So I think Charles might talk about the event you have coming up. But if we wanted to find you, if I want to find you, how am I going to find you, both Anthony and Charles?
Yeah, we're all over social media, on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. But
Charles Santiago is a little common, though. No? Okay, I'll find you. If you're not top of the list when it comes out, then I'm going to hunt you down.
There's going to be about 5 Santiagos. 4 of them are going to look Spanish. I'm going to be the one that looks mixed, so you definitely can find me.
Okay, the Santi team. Okay, so we'll find you. So Facebook, Instagram for you. Anthony, what about you? How
Yes,
do we find you?
for us, Instagram is our really biggest driver of our business, and throughout the not only the nation, around the country, around the world. Commercial Real Estate Boss. That's our handle on Instagram, Commercial Real Estate Boss. We also own the website, www.commercialrealestateboss.com. And that's really the best way of seeing how we operate in the field on a day-to-day basis.
I love it. So I'll be sure to do that. And then I think there's an in-person event that's bubbling up. Charles, I think you mentioned you have events coming. Talk to me about those. What are those?
So the event that we're having come up at the end of August is actually Filipino, and it is the Asian night market event. And the Santi Group is going to be a special sponsor for that event. And there's obviously going to be plenty of vendors for food and all the other local businesses. But, CRE Boss and myself, and even LEARNin Local Live, we're going to be showcasing what we do in regards to real estate at this event. So it'll be a great one if anybody can make it. You're in the Cambridge area, and you got some time after you had your kids just starting school. Come stop by, grab some food, come see us. There's going to be lots of fun stuff: music, live music, events, food. Food. Did we say food again? Lots of Filipinos.
We're Asian, of course. There's food.
Yeah, of course, food.
Yeah,
Food,
gotta
of
keep
course,
There's going to be
reiterating.
food at this event, right? Food. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Nobody
Yeah,
would
that's
come
food.
with food. No Asian would leave their house. Where do we find out more details? So I'm gonna hunt you down on your social media. But is there like an Eventbrite link, or is there a link to the event maybe on Facebook? How do I find the event? I just gotta bother you and I'll get it.
Yeah, you can search for me. You don't have to hunt me down. It's on Satrick Uy is the president of Filipinos, Cambridge and Filipinos. But you can even type in his name. You can find it through there. Him and his wife run the Filipino Cambridge community. Basically, what they run that specific part of Boston for the Filipinos, and they have all their stuff posted through that. Pamana is going to be there, which is the largest, I think, Filipino charity in Boston, in Massachusetts, is going to be there. And then obviously Kuya J's Ube Cafe, which is really, really great. Great people. Sarai and Kuya J is probably going to be there as well. They just opened up a spot in Cambridge and they've been killing it. It's been a couple months now. So definitely show up if you can be there. We'd love to have you and love to see your face.
Okay.
Love to join you.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, and I
thank you
wanted to
for-
just add this because, obviously this is particularly focused on Massachusetts. And I didn't mention this earlier, but my brother went to Boston University. So when he went to Boston University from, 95 to just 2000, we were the ones bringing him to school all the time, driving up there from Jersey up to Boston. And I have a great love for Boston. And I see the assets, the I guess the intellectual capital, really all the good things that happen are in Boston. I mean, you guys have the most universities, right? In a certain area in New England. I mean, when we mentioned Tufts, BU, BC, right? UMass, Northeastern, et cetera, it goes on. Wesleyan. This is all intellectual capital. And if they're not going to work for a corporation, guess what they're opening? They're opening up their own businesses. And with those own businesses and they're making money, they need to invest that money. And so they're not only investing in the stock market or, in mutual funds, et cetera, but they're buying real estate. They're buying residential real estate. And for those who want to really venture out and diversify their funds, they're investing in commercial real estate. So the reason why residential agents really don't hear about commercial so much is because nobody's looking at them with a commercial eye. They're going to the typical JLL, Cushman Wakefield, CBRE, Marcus Millichap brokers, and those are few and far between. That's why we actually coach and train commercial real estate, is because now you can have actually access to these investors if you have the know-how. And that's what we are. We're kind of that conduit between the residential and commercial, so don't have to give away that relationship to that Cushman broker that might not treat your client the best way that you do, right? There you go, right? Exactly, Charles. So that's why. And that's why professionals like Charles has said, you know what, I can do this too. I just have to get the right training and mentorship and know-how, and then I'm off to the races. I own my relationships. How do I really maximize those relationships? And that's what it is. You guys, and then when my brother went to BU, I noticed all this international people that were his classmates. This guy was the son of some kind of huge conglomerate from the Middle East or somewhere from France, et cetera, et cetera. So you have this money, this financial capital there, right, in the greater Boston area, and they tend to stay there. They live there because they've been going to school there for 4 years. Then they go to a graduate school or law school or med school, and all of a sudden they're a New Englander. So there's so much opportunity, guys, in commercial real estate, and the people there, that we have to maximize it with all our expertise here.
Well, to your point too, as well, I think, it's a mindset thing with commercial, right? So many people they're thinking big dollars. Like, I have no business buying $20 million, $50 million assets. But that's also, to me, one of the beauties of commercial real estate, right? Because you're not doing it alone. You're not buying a fix and flip by yourself. Right. You're working with a GP team. Correct. So it gives you the confidence to, if you may not have the most experience, to be working with a team that does, to bring some value there to the team, so that you can take down these types of assets, because you need a strong team to do that.
Right. Yes, exactly.
So with your take, Anthony, you have a really good pulse on like what's going on in the Boston area as well as the country. What do you guys think are some of the hot assets to kind of get into over the next few years? Like, where are some of the opportunities going to be really a great place for people to strike in commercial real estate?
Well, what you're actually in, Adam. That's a great segue. Senior living, assisted living facilities. I mean, not everybody wants to move or wants to live in Florida or Texas because they want to stay close to their children and grandchildren that still live in New England area, or by me, where they're in New York, New Jersey, even though, this is where their children and grandchildren are. So they may vacation down south, right, for a week or 2 weeks. And that's what's happening now in August, right? People are vacationing, but they still want to hold home base close to their family, right? It's the family unit, especially when we're talking about Asian base. It's we're very close with our families. So that's why we're actually looking into more and more senior living, assisted living facilities. Right now, I can tell you industrial warehouse is still very strong because of the internet, and you don't really need brick and mortar storefronts so much, so to say, because our websites are our storefronts. So what we really need are small to medium-sized industrial warehouses where you can put your inventory and merchandise, kind of the Amazon model, of course, but maybe on a smaller scale, and put your merchandise somewhere so you can just basically ship your merchandise and inventory and products to the end user. One of our clients is actually, you guys know, as seen on TV, all these tchotchke on TV that you see, like the pocket hose, etc. Those people are actually, 2 pounds over from me. It's a multi-billion-dollar company, and it's all about, you order online and it's shipped to you. They don't have a storefront. They don't have a brick and mortar storefront. So that's what I'm saying, guys, is industrial warehouse. I would say, along with the multifamily, self-storage is very prevalent. As you guys know, students are always moving in and out, grad students moving in and out. They need a place to put their things. Self-storage is still very relevant as well.
So Anthony, let me
a ton of opportunity out there.
Ton of opportunity. Too much. That's why I need more people. That's why I need more people in their neck of the woods to help facilitate deals. Yes.
Anthony, let me pick your brain about boutique hotels. So a lot of people in my space, we transition out of the small residential so these are all short-term rentals, right? So a bunch of people will have their portfolio grow to 20, 30 homes, but then they start transitioning into boutique hotels. have you done deals like that? What can we look for when we're about to
Yeah.
go buy a hotel?
Yeah, absolutely. In certain areas, whether it's right outside major cities, I'll give you a case in point. This place, we're right by the MetLife Stadium, where the New York Giants, the New Jersey Jets, New York Jets, the football teams. We actually have the World Cup finals coming to New Jersey very soon, next year actually, the finals. So a town called Secaucus and East Rutherford now are developing boutique hotels to bring in the international people that are going to be coming into the North Jersey area to watch the World Cup, World Cup and FIFA finals, etc. So anything that's literally right outside or the main areas like Boston, right? So you're talking about within a ride away, right? So the T line, whatever the lines that you guys have, I'm not familiar with all the particular lines that go into Boston, but anything that can connect to downtown Boston, put a boutique hotel there, where there's,
Right.
we follow demographics and activity. So a lot of people that actually, I'm on the Jersey side, a lot of people that travel from outside, from internationally come into the area, they actually stay in New Jersey boutique hotels to go to New York City, to go to Manhattan.
Yeah, unfortunately, New York has banned short-term rentals, and therefore, hotel lobbyists won that fight. But I know exactly what you mean, because I'm really close to Gillette Stadium, and we're really gearing up for this June, actually, for the World Cup.
Yeah, exactly.
And Roger, to your point, because you manage short-term rentals, you're at the will of like local ordinances and regulations. But I feel like that's a great way to segue into the boutique, because they're seen as a hotel and commercial, going back to the commercial space. So they don't always fall under those short-term rental laws.
Yeah, exactly. Because they start zoning those residential homes.
So great for you, for like your customers who are like, man, I'm getting handcuffed by these regulations. I have 5 properties in New York. I don't know what to do with them. I have to sell them, but I still want to be in this hospitality space. How do I segue? And it's just a perfect example of just, you don't know what you don't know. And that's a perfect way, I think, if you're going to try and adapt to the environment and move into boutique hotels, because it really is about an experience.
Yeah, and that's definitely a criteria you can 1031 into.
Right. And you can do this, guys. Also, a lot of what's happening now, especially if you're going to get into the space, is joint venture, JV with an experienced boutique hotel developer. And they're willing to, if you have the land and you have the connection, they will JV with you to start off with your first, second boutique hotel development. And then once you get the hang of it, if you will, then you're off to the races on doing this on your own, building up your own capital, etc. But there's plenty of joint venture opportunities that is out there that you can start to get, familiar with that space. So in any commercial real estate asset, tell you the truth, whether it's retail shopping centers, industrial warehouse, self-storage, etc., there's people that will help you along the way.
Awesome. Well, we got a few minutes left, and with our amazing guests, thank you so much for what you guys have brought to the table today. If you guys could leave with like one last thing you'd have to say to the audience about commercial, any tips you could give, like what would be kind of your last, elevator pitch for it?
I would say for me, don't try to just perfect it. Just do it. Just do it, because, you don't want to, it's never could have, would have, should have. You want to, don't regret that you didn't try something, because there might be a reason why that idea is in your mind, and you really should, go after it with all your passion that you can, and surround yourself with the right people, just like what we have here on today's panel. So
awesome. Charles, how about you?
I think learning how to manage your emotions and think logically is really important. I think when you make educated decisions with the right information, then you can make a decision. But I think some people really operate solely based on fear, or some people really operate solely based off of, just thinking that everything's always going to work. I'm not saying it's not, but it's nice to have, and it's always good to have all of the bases covered so you can make that educated decision. And that's what we tell our clients is we really want you to give you all the information so you can make an educated decision and go from there. Because I'm not the one buying the building. I'm not the one buying the house or selling the house or et cetera. But, you know, at the end of the day, having someone who's knowledgeable, competent, who's trustworthy, who can help guide you, you know, seeking that professional to help you do that in regards to, you know, we talked about earlier, like what are these real estate things that we're looking for, you know, in Massachusetts, data centers, converting office buildings, you know, the MBTA Act in regards to the multifamilies here in Massachusetts, all of these things. There's a lot, but you need a professional to do that. So Anthony and I are totally available for you and Eugene for your real estate needs, whether it's residential, commercial, or anything that you're looking for. We have the people for you.
Perfect. Roger, how about you?
Anthony and Charles definitely covered a lot of what, but I think lately I've been dealing with a lot of clients that have analysis paralysis. They read everything. There's so much information out there. YouTube videos, Instagram stories, books. They just get there's so many perspectives, and there won't be like one perfect scenario for everyone. And it's just recognizing your opportunities, taking that leap, right? And that's I think my advice today is to, you know, don't be scared. You know, things will work out. Stay positive. Connect yourself with people that have done it before.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Suzanne?
I'm in the same boat. I think the thing that surprised me the most about today's conversation, and right, like I'm half Korean. I know what Korean community looks like in the tri-state area. We're bonded. I so appreciate, Anthony, your energy towards commercial real estate, because you make me feel like I can do it, right? It's so easy and you love it so much and it's so exciting. You're like, the possibilities are endless, that I'm like, oh, okay, I'm feeling it, right? So I'm so happy to connect with you later. But I think it was you that brought up the point that, you know, you have Asian hubs in areas of high education.
Yes.
So not only you have high education, you have Asians out there, which are some of the best performers, in my opinion, may or may not be biased. But then you also have Asian people that are really well connected as a family. We really don't leave our family. We understand the family unit. And something else that I say is I think we all have like a family business somewhere within our family tree. Right. Even us as Koreans, we retire maybe about 50 years old. We leave the corporate world, and then they start their second career in owning whatever shop they can possibly own. So it's not foreign to us at all. And I don't know why I've been sleeping on this, but I've been sleeping on it probably because of fear. But now knowing somebody like Anthony and Charles makes it so much easier, so much more possible. And then again, Anthony, your energy for it educates,
Thank you.
inspires me. And what's the third word that I'm missing?
Empowers
me.
Power.
There it is. I'm feeling it. That's why.
I'm so happy. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great, Suzanne. That's
thank you guys for all that. I'll finish off real quick is just say that, you know, it's a mindset thing with commercial. Think bigger, faster, and to piggyback off what Anthony said, just get out there and do it.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you know, we appreciate you for anyone tuning in today to watch us. We appreciate our guests, our great co-hosts and sponsors, Roger, Suzanne. Thank you everyone on this. And, you know, we hope to see you soon.
Thanks, guys.